So when I say Gremlin, I'm thinking about the old school 90 movies. However, this is going to be something different with the multi-game cartridge from Evercade. And there were actually two games I noticed on here. I just needed to have this cartridge loaded and reloaded. Where Reloaded is a game I have no, let's say, real connection with. I may say that Loaded is one of those games. Oh man, I've been playing that a lot on the PlayStation because that is one of those really cool old school classics one. Okay, so when it comes to the Blaze Entertainment cartridges, yeah, there are only like 4 games on here. Loaded, Reloaded, Hogs of War. I can still remember Hogs of War. I've seen it a lot, never played it, and Buggy. Okay, no idea what both of these games will be, but let me know which of these games did you play and did you actually like them. So let's do a quick unboxing together with you. Sign up for the Evercade letter, so you can actually do that if you want to. So what I love about these are like the manuals, you know, like old school. I love these collection of, let's say, they're releasing, but particularly when it comes to, let's say, the old school days with the manuals. I think there was somebody, I don't know where it was, but I noticed somebody saying like back in the day when he had like all kinds of games, he took his manuals with him to school and was actually just reading them on the bus. I know that's kind of cool. So, you know, I was always checking on the back, I guess I remember, where with these manuals where you can write stuff down when I was renting stuff. When I'm renting, yeah, some people like putting in some cheat codes, you know, they discovered something that was kind of cool. It was more like a message board, you know, you know, when it comes to playing these games, there were so many good memories. However, I think when it comes beside the memories, it's going to be a lot of fun just checking out a couple of these games. And with the newer generation of cartridges, we do have some interesting things going on. Having, like, say, more, let's say, high-end or newer games. Because Loaded was a 32-bit game system. And I think that is going to be interesting to see what's going on in the future. How cool would it be if you have like Tekken Trilogy on the cartridge? That is something I would love to see. But let's grab myself a device and let's plug it in and see what's going on. But today we're going to be using the Evercade EXP. I wonder if we're going to be having new ones in the future. So let's plug in the cartridge and let's see what's going on. Oh man, this thing is really tight. That is one thing to be sure. Love having the letters over here, but it fits in very smoothly with the device itself. But let's see how to get into the menu, because we're going to be looking into what we can actually play. So in here we're having the cartridge slot, and there we go. There we're having our brand new games. So having Loaded, Reloaded, Hogs of War. But let's start off with Buggy, because this is a game I've never played. With less save, I have like the warning of flashing light, so be warned. But let's see what's going on and if this is going to be any fun. So it's going to be a graphical, let's say, interesting game to look at. And loading times, okay. That's something else. By the way, there was all kinds of smoothly stuff on my screen over here. This has some really nice funky soundtrack. I just needed to let you hear that. But let's go with the new game. We actually have the option for 2 players, so we're going to be using this on the game system. We can actually play together, so that's kind of cool. But I just wanted to also showcase you the loading times of the game itself. And they're surprisingly long. Yeah. Let's see what we can actually do with the Clock Wagon, Lush Bug, the Bloop, Craven Color. We're going for the Bloop. Ah, this is more like an RC game. I just realized now. That is kind of cool. Can we change cars over there? So let's just start with the first one. This game got some really nice soundtrack to it. I had some, you know, when doing testing of all kinds of emulation stuff, I do have the idea that it was like having some frame dips when you're actually starting getting into the stage itself. Choky City, and I must say that the overall idea of the game is kind of cool, that we can just drive through different portals, getting some Diddy Kong vibes, you know, with all kinds of different stages we need to drive to. That was kind of cool. Let's see how the game will actually play. We don't have any joystick, so we need to use the D-pad, but... Oh crap. Did I mess up? Not... Oh, yeah, it's more like an extra boost of some kind. Where do you need to go? So the overall game itself, I always have the feeling that it runs a little bit choppy, but it's nothing to do with, like, the device itself. I think it's actually the game itself. Revolt was the other game I've played a lot on the PlayStation, but also PC and stuff like that. Oh crap, mess it up. Yep, mess it up. But is this game actually enjoyable? Yeah, I don't know. We can like make a quick save over here, so that's kind of cool. That's one of the features I love about this device. And now we can actually go to the Hogs of War, because I am really curious about this one too. So Hogs of War is one of those games I've never played before, so let's see what's going on with this particular game. I don't really recall where I actually saw it. Was it like on the PlayStation? Was it on the PC? Don't know, man. Don't know. Also, these games are having a little bit more longer loading time than normal. I mean, particularly you're going to be having the basic games. I also find it interesting to see if this is going to be playable because of the D-pad. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting game to actually check out, because this is such a cool game. I must say that the humor, I can really dig it when it comes to that. But yeah, when it comes to playing games like this, like Hogs of War, this is not like actually the game I wanted to check out. I mean, particularly when it comes to buying this cartridge. So let's move to some cool games I just think is really... Let's put it this way, I think this Loaded is just freaking cool. Let's deep dive in it, I'll show you why. So Loaded is maybe not like the most beautiful game and not even the best, like they shoot 'em up over there, but this has some really cool soundtracks to it. That was the first thing I really noticed when actually getting into the game. Man, this is some really cool game music. So this is graphical wise not like the most beautiful game. I think the first time I ever played on the PlayStation, I was not like flabbergasted, but I think the fun fact was like the cooperative mode where we can just, let's say, get into the, let's say, shooting, collecting the certain passes for getting into the different kind of stage levels. It was just like a fun overall game experience. Okay, the D-pad display is absolutely enjoyable when it comes to this. But yeah, this is a game that you're going to be hating or just loving. But just revisiting these games, and that is one of the things I always hope for Evercade, releasing more demanding games like 16-bit, 32-bits and stuff like that. I don't see Nintendo releasing actually games on there, but you know, when they're going to be having some PlayStation, that will be very cool. Well, let's take a close look at the Reload game. I personally didn't really play this a lot. I think I played like 10 minutes in total in my life. But so let's revisit this for myself and see what is going on. For me, when it comes to playing these games, it's also like a part of a little bit of nostalgia. And in combination with the music, the soul of the game, how those games actually perform and etc. And when it comes to Reloaded, where this is maybe a better game than the previous one, I didn't have any, let's say, connection with it. And when I don't have those, you know, you can actually make a connection with an old game if you're thinking this is going to be still a very cool game to actually just revisit or at least like play again. But still, man, we have limited time in life, and I think you just need to play the games that you're going to be really enjoying. So this is something of a stage I can still remember. The entering of the stage was so much different than with the first game. Graphical wise, is it better? I don't know. But still actually playing this game, I'm having the same kind of feeling. I love the music of this, but I didn't really get into it, you know? No. It doesn't touch my wicked soul. And that's one of the reasons I keep dying. Freaking annoying! But is the Gremlin really worth it for buying? Because you do pay a little bit more money for it than your normal Evercade cartridge. Yeah, Loaded, I love it. I'm going to be playing this a lot. However, is this going to be worth the money? That is only something you can decide. Thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of these collections, and it will be great to see you in the next video.